Hey, what's up guys, it's Jonathan and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm gonna do something new, something different, something intriguing, something I never done before. I'm gonna review a lens, and this is the LensBaby Velvet 85. It's from the Velvet series, which is a new series they launched where they add like a special feature to each lens. They have a 56 and now they have an 85. And this particular lens, it casts like a dreamy effect. It increases the blur on your subject even, and also brings out like the highlights to add like a subtle glow. It's a portrait lens. It's meant to spice up some portrait photography. I'm not a photographer, I shoot video, but went ahead and tried it out, and I got some interesting effects. I use it on my Red Weapon, my Red Epic W, and my 5D, and I'm gonna show you some photos later on in the video. For now, let's go ahead and dive into the unboxing and see what we get. So this is the box to the LensBaby Velvet 85mm. You can see a quick look around it, and inside you get the Velvet 85mm lens and some paperwork. You don't get a carrying pouch or anything like that, but then again, this is a $500 lens, and it's a full frame lens. So if you look at it to some of the other competitors on the market, it's priced substantially lower and it packs a ton of quality. Now that you know the Velvet 85mm is a $500 lens, what actually do you get for the money? Well, you get an aperture of f1.8 to f16. It's just above 18 ounces in terms of weight, making it a fairly light full frame lens. It's made of metal all the way through, has a very fluid focusing ring, and it has a clicking aperture ring. It's not clickless, so if you're a videographer and you rely on that clickless aperture, it does not have it. It definitely does have an audible click, but it is a very good clicking aperture ring because it just clicks right into place. You can hear it, you can feel it. It's not going to accidentally shift out. I didn't have a problem with it during my use. One thing to mention is that this lens is available in nearly any mount you could possibly think of. I have the Canon EF, and that's the one that I'm going to be testing, but it's also available for Nikon, Fuji X, Sony E and A, as well as various Micro Four Thirds systems, and even Samsung NX series. So like I said, it's available for a lot of different camera mounts. Inside this lens, you have really good components. You have 12 diaphragm blades made up of 3 groups of 4 lens elements. Combined with the f1.8 aperture, you're gonna get really good low light results minus the blurring effect, which I'm going to cover in a minute. So yeah, it is a very bright lens, but really, to be honest, until you step up to about f2.8, it doesn't really get sharp. So anything below that, you're gonna get that dreamy, blurry effect with the boosted highlights and like glowing effect. Really good for Instagram and things like that, but not so much in a practicality sense if you're trying to go for tack sharp imaging or video, in my case, of different products, or even yourself if you're trying to communicate with someone. There's a lot of words, and I'm sure it probably confused you because it confused me. Basically, I'm saying unless you stop up to f2.8, the lens really isn't that sharp. Anything below that, you're gonna get really blurry imaging, and it's not because it's out of focus, it's just that special effect that I told you about this lens. As I said in the beginning, I tried this lens out on various cameras with various different sensors. We have a Canon, we had the GH5, I had my Red Weapon, which is running the Dragon sensor, and then my Red Epic W, which is running the Helium sensor, but the results were pretty consistent all across the board. I found the contrast levels to be excellent, even though they were a little bit washed out, but they could be brought back in post, especially if you shoot in RAW, and the saturation looked good. The sharpness didn't start to really kick in until f4 for me. So when it comes to chromatic aberration or distortion, I really didn't get any from this lens. The bokeh looks nice and smooth, and that's thanks to the effect that's added in this lens. It almost looks like velvet. Bokeh balls could be a little bit better, but no complaints for a $500 lens from me. So really, I don't find this lens to be a bad option if you're looking to get your first time portrait 85mm game on. Now, I'm not saying there's no defects in this lens. I'm just saying whenever I was looking at the images, and I'm not a trained-eyed photographer, but for me, everything looked good. Like, there was no type of weird distortion or chromatic aberration or defects in the image. Everything came out really consistent and really good. So here's a quick video of me stopping down from f16 all the way down to f1.8 so you can see when that blurring effect kicks in and then it boosts the highlights. So ultimately, what do I think? I think the LensBaby Velvet 85mm is a great option, even if you're a beginner and you're trying to get into portrait photography for the first time, but make sure you already own a couple lenses before this one. I don't think this is a good first timer lens, but it does have a cool effect. F1.8 is bright, but it's not really usable unless you're going for that creamy, velvety, blurry, dreamy effect. Outside of that though, f4 to 5.6 is tack sharp and completely usable even for everyday shooting. And I just think for 500 bucks, you really can't go wrong with this lens. If you do video, that's another story. I would probably not get this lens unless you're just looking for a special effect lens. And again, you have multiple lenses on standby in case this one doesn't work out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop me a big thumbs up as it does help out the channel. For more videos like this, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell down below, and join that notification team so you can be alerted whenever a new video drops. Leave me a comment if you have any questions. Hit me up on social as it's more direct. I respond faster, and of course, I'll talk to you in the next one. Be easy.